Ladies, juicy subject today. Do you live to work or do you work to live? Now sit tight because I'm also going to cover how this relates back to you achieving or not achieving your fitness results. But first of all, let's answer the question. Do you live to work or do you work to live? Now you might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable right now because a little voice in your head's telling you that you might be living to work just because you're spending so much time, pretty much all your time working. Now trust me when I say that I've been there myself before. I have worked so many hours, day in, day out. I've not really had weekends. I couldn't stop thinking about work, even on a Sunday. And it just left me feeling tired, exhausted, and it kind of drenched the joy out of my life. I actually went there a few times because I was so tired and exhausted to the point where I had adrenal fatigue, and it took me a couple of attempts to get out of it until I realized I needed to take massive action to create the change in my life that was required. So if you right now can relate to constantly feeling tired, overwhelmed and exhausted, this video is definitely for you. I also understand that right now we're going through a period of time, this corona pandemic, where we're left with the opportunity to kind of hit the reset button. Now I know there are some people out there who right now feel more overwhelmed than before corona started, or you might be one of those who felt more overwhelmed and tired before it started. So no matter who you are, this question, what we want to discuss today, is all about what needs to change for you to feel energized and not tired anymore once corona is over. This is a time where we get to reflect, what are we willing to put up with and what are we not willing to put up with any longer once this corona is over, and when the danger arises for us to fall back into our old ways, our old habits, where we just end up feeling tired and exhausted because we're working too much all the time. You might have heard the saying, where the focus goes, energy flows. So if all your focus all the time is on work, of course you can't have enough focus for the other areas in your life, and it just ends up making you feel tired and kind of really stuck. So let me ask you these 3 questions that are going to help you identify what it is that you need to change so you can stop feeling tired and exhausted all the freaking time. So question number 1, what are the top 5 things you are not willing to put up with any longer? So just take a moment and just tune in with your body. What comes up? What are 5 things that you're not willing to put up with any longer? Now, if you're right now at a point where you're ready to make some changes and you're ready to really own up to your experience and your perception of what you're not willing to put up with any longer, question number 2 is, what changes are required for you to implement this change and kick out those 5 things of your life you're not willing to put up with any longer? And then question number 3, what do you want to have in your life, or what do you need to implement in your life so you get to feel more energized, less tired, and so you get to have more time for yourself? And then also ask yourself, what are some action steps that you can implement to start working towards that? So obviously this is a step-by-step process, so don't think you need to do all of this at once, but creating the awareness around what it is that you need and want to change is definitely step number one. Now, I promised you at the start of this video that I would share with you how this relates back to you achieving or not achieving your fitness results. Before I mentioned where your focus goes, energy flows. So we have a lot of different areas in our lives, right? So obviously there's work, there's our social life, etc., etc. Now, as I explained before, if all our focus is so on work, it is going to be really hard to constantly feel the motivation that you want to feel and create the energy you need to follow through on your fitness goals. So if that right now resonates with you, you might also realize how not creating the time and energy for other things in your life might be impacting whether or not you're achieving your fitness results. So here's to working to live, and I hope that you are able to create the change that you want to have so you get to live a more balanced life with more energy and more joy.